You've probably heard it called the eighth wonder of the world. It's one of the most powerful financial forces on the entire planet. Yeah, we're talking about compound interest.
But what does it really mean? What does it do? Well, let me ask you a question. What if you put aside just $500 a month? Seems doable, right? But could that simple habit actually make you a millionaire? The answer is kind of shocking.
Okay, so you stick with it. Over a 40-year career, that $500 a month adds up. You've put in a total of $240,000. That's a solid amount of cash, for sure. But that's not where this story ends. Not even close. Because that same investment, if you just let it do its thing, could be worth $1.2 million by the time you retire. So, wait a minute, how is that possible? Where did the extra $1,000,000 just appear from? Well, that's the secret sauce we're diving in today.
It really all boils down to one single idea: earning interest on your interest. See, it's not just about the money you save, it's about what your savings start to earn all by themselves.
So to really get this, let's look at simple interest versus compound interest. With simple interest, your money grows in a nice, straight, predictable line. It's fine. But with compound interest, whoa, your earnings start making their own earnings. So the growth isn't a line at all, it's a curve that gets steeper and just takes off like a rocket. To put it as simply as possible, compound interest is getting paid interest on top of your interest. Every single dollar your investment earns gets thrown back into the pot, and it immediately starts working to make you even more money. You've probably heard this called the snowball effect, and it's the perfect way to think about it. Imagine a tiny snowball at the top of a huge snowy mountain. It starts rolling, and at first it's slow, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, getting bigger and faster, which helps it pick up even more snow even faster. That's your money when it's compounding. Okay, so this force is clearly a powerhouse. The big question is, how do you get it on your side? How do you make this compounding machine work for you? First up, you've got to speak the language. You see these letters all the time, APR and APY. Just remember this, APR is the rate you pay when you borrow. APY, on the other hand, is the rate you earn on savings, and here's the key, it already includes the magic of compounding. When you're trying to grow your money, APY is the number that matters. Now, let me show you a quick little mental shortcut. It's called the Rule of 72, and it's awesome. You just take the number 72, divide it by your interest rate, and that gives you a rough idea of how many years it'll take for your money to double. Simple as that. And look at how big a difference the rate makes. At a 4% return, it takes 18 years to double your money. But if you can get an 8% return, say from investing, boom, it doubles in just 9 years. You literally cut the time in half. And at 12%, it's just 6 years. This shows you how much a higher return can accelerate that snowball. But you know what the most important ingredient in this whole recipe is? It's something you can't buy. It's time. Check this out. A 25-year-old who starts saving that $500 a month ends up with that $1.2 million. But what if they wait just 10 years and start at 35? They end up with less than half of that. That decade of lost compounding costs them over $500,000. It's just gone. Now, that incredible power of time we just talked about, it's a double-edged sword. So far, we've seen how it can be a superpower for building wealth, but that exact same force has a dark side. It can become your absolute worst financial enemy. And don't just take my word for it. As CBS News put it, that same snowball effect works just as powerfully when it comes to debt. When you're the one who owes money, compounding interest means your debt can just explode. And here's where it gets really scary. A lot of high-interest debt, like from credit cards, doesn't compound once a year. It doesn't even compound once a month. It compounds daily, every single day. The interest gets added to your balance, making that snowball roll downhill against you even faster. Look at this real-life example. It's insane. A student takes out a $50,000 loan. For 10 straight years, they make payments. So what happens to their balance? It actually grew to almost $66,000. How is that possible? Their payments weren't even enough to cover the new interest being piled on every day. The debt snowball was just getting bigger and bigger. And this is why it feels so impossible to pay down big loans at the start. In the beginning, almost your entire payment is just going to interest. Only a tiny little sliver is actually paying down the money you borrowed. It takes years and years before your payments finally start making a real dent. So, you see, compound interest is this two-sided coin. It can be a superhero that builds you a fortune, or it can be a supervillain that buries you in debt. And here's the good news. You get to choose which side you're on.
And really, it all comes down to a super simple 3-step game plan. Number 1, start as early as you possibly can. Time is your superpower. 2, be consistent. Keep feeding that growth machine even with small amounts. And 3, attack high-interest debt. You have to stop that negative snowball before it gets out of control.
And that all leaves us with one last really important question to ask yourself. Right now, this very second, your money is compounding. That's a fact. The only question is it working for you or is it working against you?